Hey guys, Micah from Black Bear Custom Kydex. I've got some sheaths to show you today, as well as a little bit of housekeeping to discuss. So let me start with the housekeeping. I promise I'll make it as brief and efficient as possible. First and foremost, on my Instagram page, I've just crossed the 5,000 threshold, 5,000 follower threshold, and I will be doing a giveaway to celebrate that. Some of you guys have been longtime subscribers or followers of mine, whether it's here or over there or both. And if you haven't already followed me over there, I'd really appreciate that you do that. I think it would be in your best interest as well, just because this giveaway will only be open and eligible to, it'll only be open to followers on my Instagram page. I will make an announcement there as well as a video here showing off the details of that particular giveaway as well as how to enter exactly and win. But it's going to be a pretty good one, so definitely don't miss it. Next bit of housekeeping. This order is one that would fall into this category, and I want to make other potential or other customers, current customers, aware as well. If you've already paid me for an order, and if we're approaching or even beyond the original estimated wait time that I quoted you, guys, I'm so sorry if your project is a little behind the deadline or even a lot behind the deadline. I promise I am working every single day toward getting this all caught up, making sure that you get your stuff and that I hold up my end of the bargain. I am not going to cheat anybody out of a single penny of what they've paid for. So please just have a little patience and faith. As Keith did, the client for this particular project, he's been very gracious with me. And I want to make sure that you guys just hopefully feel confident that I'm not cheating anybody out of their money. I'm not scamming you. I'm simply behind. The reason I'm behind is entirely my own fault. Going back to just before COVID really struck, I got myself in pretty deep with orders beyond what I was capable of fulfilling in terms of the time commitments. I overestimated myself and underestimated the workload, and I shot myself in the foot, guys. I can't defend that. I'm not going to make excuses. It is what it is. But I promise I am doing my very, very best to get caught up. I'm working about 50 to 60 hours a week doing sheaths, and I do have another job about 20 hours a week on top of that. So please don't think that I'm slacking off or putting things out of order or giving other things priority over yours. I'm not. I'm simply backlogged, and I promise I'm working to resolve this. I've also shut my books until I get all of my custom orders caught up. I'm not going to make any compromises on that. I'm going to stick to my guns and get caught up fully so that when I do reopen, I can do so with really confident, low, just couple weeks wait time rather than months on end. And to those of you guys who have waited and received your stuff eventually, to those of you who are currently waiting, I so appreciate your patronage and support, guys. It means the world to me. I've made some incredible friends in this community. It's just a great group of people. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it many times more, that you guys are awesome, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this, and so flattered that you guys would come to me for your gear needs. I'm so sorry that it's taking longer than I had expected, but bear with me, and you will have the highest quality custom Kydex on the market, in my opinion. So, all right, guys. Without further ado, let's get into these sheaths. Let's cover all of this, and I will try to do so in the most efficient manner possible because you've already been waiting almost 4 minutes. So, all right, we've got a Hinder Bowie. We've got a Dawson Knives. I don't even know what to call this thing. It's a drop point, but it's got these really prominent guards on the top and bottom. I don't know the model name, so I apologize for that. And then we've got one of Chris Tanner's designs. This is one of, I believe, the newest one of his designs on the market, called the JX Omega. Really cool, really unique design. Let's start with this thing. It's the black sheath of the bunch here. I'm sorry, I don't know if the camera is doing weird things on your end as well, but I'm looking at the screen and it's kind of going haywire. Bear with me on that. All right, so Chris Tanner's designs. Guys, if you don't know who Chris Tanner is, please go check out his YouTube channel, Prepared Mind 101. He is one of the most well-known and well-respected gear reviewers on the circuit, and he's just got a pile of great knife designs that he's doing that are produced by reputable, high-quality companies like this one from Tuff Gear, others from LT Wright and Bark River Knives. Bark River, as you guys probably know, is one of my all-time favorite knife companies. So definitely go check out some of his designs. Whether you personally fit with them or not, it I don't believe can be denied that he has very purpose-driven designs, and they are certainly some of the most unique knives on the market. They all have a very interesting niche that they fit, and are all, in my opinion, quite good multi-purpose blades as well. So looking at this one, the JX Omega, this is the first JX Omega I've done. It's also the first Work Tough Knives blade that's come through my shop, so I'm very excited to be working on this one. Keith asked for black leather over Kydex with black stitching, so that's what you're looking at here. He also asked for baldric points, specifically drew a diagram for me on where he wanted those attached, and molly locks. Let's talk really quick about the molly locks. It's essential when you do a sheath that's got mollies on it that you space those mollies at inch and a half intervals, so 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, etc. Because that's the spacing of molly webbing loops. You need to get that spacing correct, or you're not going to have a functional sheath. That said, this is actually slightly below 3 inches, but within a certain margin of error, you can make it work. I have tested this on my own pack to make sure that it does work, and it's great. It works fine. So yeah, that's just kind of a word there about that. However, if you want to employ it, you have this option. Sorry guys. I did create a little standoff plate for it that does have this 1.5 inch spacing here in the center. It does work quite nicely. So if you decide, Keith, that you'd rather switch to that and have the molly locks there, you can do so. You also have a bag of hardware and spacers there. It's quite a bit of hardware and spacers. I just wanted to make sure all my bases were covered, but you do have the option to rock it like that. As far as the baldric attach points go, this is the first time I've had a customer specifically request 3 baldric attach points. He also specifically requested a 2-point rifle sling, specifically this one. This is what I carry, guys. This is from Beachin Tactical, Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Jacob Peterson runs both of those companies. You need to check him out if you haven't done so already. He's a military veteran. He's an Army veteran like myself, and he's doing the nicest webbing work in the world, in my opinion. This is what he calls the baldric sling. He also has a light baldric sling, which is the exact same thing, but without the paracord weave over the top of it. In my opinion, this is better because it's got, obviously, a little bit more weight disbursement, so it's more comfortable. It's softer on your shoulder, and of course, also offers a generous length of paracord that is not super tightly woven over the sling. So it gives you 2 primary benefits. One, if you need your paracord, you can use it without compromising by dismantling your sling, because you'll still have a sling to use. Some actually use the paracord to construct the sling itself, which is a tactical error in my opinion. Secondly, if you need it, it's not super tightly woven on there, so not only does that give it a softer feel, but it also makes it easier to remove that paracord in an emergency situation. So yes, I did just say situation. Sorry guys, I haven't had my coffee yet today. But yeah, this is just a phenomenal sling. It's what I go with, and if you guys ask for a baldric carry, this is what you're going to be getting. Now, why did he ask for 3 attach points? I actually didn't ask him why, but he drew me a diagram showing me where he wanted the 3 attach points. So that's what we got here. And my speculation on why, and Keith, you can correct me down below if I'm wrong on this, but there are 2 ways to carry baldric. One of them is the more what I would call the more common way, which involves using the spine of the sheath rather, at the mouth and at the tip, and connecting your sling there. So you'd carry this, in this case it's all right-handed gear, so I'd have the sling on my right shoulder, crossing down to my left hip where it attaches to the sheath, and the sheath would carry like so, handle forward, blade down, and on my non-dominant side, so I can reach across and draw the knife out like that. That is what I would consider to be by far the more common option. However, the more traditional option, going back to the origins of baldric, which I won't assert any expertise on. Guys, if you have any expertise in that, please comment down below and give us a little history lesson. I actually think the word baldric sounds Balkan or Slavic to me, so I'm going to guess that it's got its roots in maybe Eastern Europe, but I could be totally off base with that. But yeah, going back hundreds of years to frontier days, or probably even earlier to you know, wherever the word baldric comes from. Sorry, I know that sounds pretty ignorant, but I think that this is what I've seen in the earliest examples. This is actually how people carried baldric originally. So you've got your sling, same kind of thing, on your dominant shoulder, stretched across for a hanging cross draw on your non-dominant side, and it would actually carry upright like so, which is a really cool thing. It's very comfortable. It actually stays in line with your body, so you're less likely to have it hit or snag on things. Sorry for the yawn, guys. So yeah, less likely to have any kind of hiccup or snagging your sheath on other things. But yeah, it's just a different option. It's a different way to carry it. So I believe that's why he asked for these specific positions for the D-rings there. But Keith, once again, let us know what your intentions were, if I got that right or wrong. We'd all love to hear about that below. And anybody else that knows more about baldric, comment down below. I think that's a really interesting topic to geek out on. All right, going down here for the Dawson Knives. Very prominent guard on this one. It was difficult to create the blocking for it because it means you need to create some way for the guard to travel cleanly in and out of the sheath without hiccups or snags or snares. I think I've done that pretty successfully here. It's got a great click and it's got a very nice ballistic one-handed draw. So I'm very pleased with how this came out. Now this is the only black. It's got black leather, black stitching. These are all going to be brown leather with tan stitching on them. So I really love this look. The little contrast gives a nice accent piece, and you get just the nice aesthetic of leather with all the functionality of Kydex. I love leather over Kydex. Looking at the carry setup, we've got a plate dangler is what I would call this. This is just an offset plate that allows you to attach the dangler to it with varying degrees of ride height, so you can customize that a little bit, as well as shuffling over and carrying right or left-handed depending on your user preference there. So this bolsters the value of the sheath in the future. If you decide to sell the knife and or the sheath, you could sell this to a left-handed user, and they would be able to utilize this right away with no need to seek out another aftermarket option. I really love this. I love that versatility, and I'll get into a little more about why the plate's got so many holes in it in just a moment. Next one, same exact setup, brown leather, tan stitching, over black Kydex, and we've got the same exact kind of concept with the plate dangler there. Now, one of the benefits of the plate dangler, apart from the fact that it's ambidextrous, is that the way that I set up my plates typically is that they're also MOLLE compatible. So while there are not MOLLE locks on here because he did not ask for them, you actually can connect MOLLE locks to these by going through, let's see if I remember correctly, from the edge here to this row of eyelets, that two of them are obscured by this dangler apparatus here, but there are two eyelets right at the same level as the ones along the spine here, and you can utilize those for MOLLE locks. I believe you can also go through, actually no, I'm not, it would just be these two for this Hinder Bowie. For this one, you have the option of going well, let me dig out the ruler just to double check this. I believe I set it up this way, but I might not have. Okay. It is ever so slightly under 1.5 inches, but you could probably make it work for MOLLE locks down the center row along the side here, or on the opposite side, same thing. But for sure, this is 1.5 inches from center to center. So that's what I would do, is connect the mollies directly to the inner path of the sheath here and rock it like so. Of course, you got your dangler as well. And then the last sheath I'm going to show you, he had originally talked to me about how he's got 3 of these Hinder Bowies and almost placed an order for multiples of these. Now, these are the 3 that he actually ordered, but because of the wait time and because he's been so gracious, I decided I wanted to throw in an extra sheath for him. He doesn't know he's getting it, so hopefully this video will be the reveal for him, or even unboxing it and seeing the video later. But I decided I wanted to give him an extra sheath. So he had kind of cited one that looked a lot like this that I'd done that he was interested in. So I decided to chase after it with this design to give a little contrast for whatever his second of 3 Bowie knives to have a sheath. Of course, has the leather dangler, and then it's actually got what I call the clasp dangler. This is a tech lock with a piece of Kydex, in this case half wrapped in leather. It was too thick with leather all the way around, so it's half wrapped in leather. And you can lock it into position here to complete a dangler setup and carry it like so. However, you can take the dangler out and carry Scout as a tech lock, or you can actually change the tech lock to vertical or 2 angles in between horizontal and vertical for a good comfortable cross draw. So this is a very versatile setup. This is an invention of mine going back a couple years, and I just want to make a really quick note, guys. There are a lot of designs floating around out there that are not patented, and therefore a lot of guys are free to use them. I have quite a few inventions in the Kydex arena myself, and I do see a lot of other people using them. That doesn't bother me, that flatters me. I love it when other people see something that they can use to sell their product and using it to their own benefit. That doesn't bother me one iota. If it did, I would copyright or patent this and send them cease and desist letters and do that whole thing. But I'm not really about that. That doesn't matter to me as much. What does matter to me, however, is not even getting credit. Most people don't credit me with when they use one of my inventions. What bothers me is when somebody takes one of, somebody else's invention and then renames it to suit their own purposes. You could just call this the Tech Lock Clasp Dangler, or you could just, not call it anything, or you could even give credit where credit's due. Any one of those would be acceptable to me. However, renaming it to obscure the fact that you did not come up with it is immoral and unjustifiable in my opinion. So I won't be ashamed to call people out on the carpet when they do that. So yeah, if you see another person out there making these and renaming it to something of their own choosing, chances are pretty good that they're just trying to get credit for something that they did not come up with. So shame on them. So there you go. Clasp dangler. Again, brown leather, tan stitching. I think this looks really, really nice. One other really quick detail is that these 3 danglers have brass colored D-rings. Now, these are not polished brass. These are not actually even store-bought the way that they are. I had a heck of a time. I couldn't find any locally sourced, well, I say locally sourced, but I mean from any of the stores that sell D-rings locally. I could not find any. However, what I ended up finding was some stuff online, so I bought some stuff online. Well, it came and it was the wrong product, and I just don't have time to wait for it again. So what I did was I took my D-rings that I normally use, these kind of gunmetal, gray, silvery, whatever you want to call this, gunmetal, and I actually bought some brass high-temp spray paint, and I spray painted the rings. So they do have a little bit of a rough coat on them. It's not a perfect coat. I'm not an expert on spray paint by any stretch, so I do apologize for the imperfections on them. However, I do think the color looks really nice, and I actually prefer the texture with the leather. I think it makes it kind of look a little more rustic. So, Keith, I'm sorry about that. I hope you weren't super set on getting like polished brass or anything, but I'm really happy with how these came out. I think they are looking pretty good and serving the function certainly, and the paint seems to be holding up very well as well. So, all right, guys, that's what I've got for you. I apologize this is such a long video, but I appreciate you tuning in and checking out the whole thing. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of all these sheaths. Let me know what you think of these knives. Certainly interested to hear more about baldric, as I talked about, if you guys have any knowledge on the history of that, as well as your opinions on Chris Tanner's designs. Personally, I'm a big fan. They're just super unique and super purpose-driven designs, so I appreciate that about them. But yeah, let me know what you think of all the knives and gear. And of course, reminder, go check out my Instagram page and follow me over there to get a chance to win the giveaway that I'll be announcing very shortly. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stick around for the next one. God bless.